Welcome to Chapter 2, Lesson 2, where we are going to learn how to format paragraphs in InDesign. The first thing I need you to do is open up your last name, first name file that is called MinPin Intro. And we're going to complete this project in Chapter 2, Lesson 2, and you'll be able to turn it in when you are done with this video. So the first thing I want you guys to do is make sure that you have your page equally fitted in your window. So you're going to go to View and then make sure you fit Page in Window. Then we are going to click on the first word in our body. And if we click on this 5 times, it's going to select everything within this area. If we click on it 4 times, it's only going to select our first paragraph. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and it selects our first paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will select everything. So I want to make sure you guys have everything selected. And then we're going to go to our character panel, and we are going to select the leading list arrow to a 30 point. So again, if you hover over these different options, you're going to be able to find the one called leading, and we want to change this to 30 points, so we can do that by clicking and deleting, hitting 30, and then hitting enter. And now you'll notice that there are big spaces in between each one of our lines. So we are going to now display the paragraph panel, which if we come over to the paragraph side, as long as you are in your typography workspace here at the top, you'll be able to see paragraph. If you don't see paragraph, you can just simply go to Window, and then Types and Tables and select Paragraph. But now that our paragraph is open, we can do the same thing where we hover over these different options so we can see what they are called. What we want to do is display the paragraph panel and then click the Justify with Last Line Aligned to the Left button. So if we come over here, we can see Justify with Last Line Aligned to the Left. We're going to click on that, and that's just going to change the alignment of our last line if we have everything selected. So go ahead and make sure everything is selected. That's 5 times, and then clicking on the Justify, our last line to the left. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to click on Introducing at the top of the document, and we're going to click on it 3 times. So that it selects that entire line for us. And now we're going to select the Align Center function on our paragraph, and that's going to be this one, so that we can align our header in the middle of that page. And then we can click anywhere on our artboard to deselect, or we can always come to Edit, and then deselect all, or Control, Shift, and A. So now we're going to talk about how to apply vertical spacing between paragraphs. So we're going to click on our type tool, and we are going to click anywhere in the body of our section, and we're going to go to Edit and then select all or hit Control A, and that's going to select everything within that object. We're going to click on the Space After up arrow. So if we come down here, we want to hover over until we see our option called Space After. And we are going to click on the up arrow 3 times to add in a value of 0.1875. So 1, 2, 3. And now we have a value of 0.1875. And that is adding spacing after our paragraphs. Then, let's see. We are going to click and drag the 2 selected footnotes. So we want to deselect everything. And we want to, we need to click on our body, go to Edit, select all, and we need to change our spacing back to a little bit normal of a spacing. So going to our character, and then selecting on our leading, and changing it to 16, so that all of our document is in the same window. Now we can go back to our paragraph panel, where we are going to select our footnotes, and we are going to highlight both of our footnotes. And then what we're going to do is we are going to change the space after text box to a 0. So remember, this one is our space after. If you hover over, you can see that. And then we're going to change that to 0 and then hit enter. And we want to make sure we had all that highlighted. Sorry about that. Making sure it's 0. And now we want to go to our space before the text box. So let's highlight our first footnote now, just the first one. And then we're going to go to space before, which is this guy right here. And we're going to change it to a 0.25. And that's just going to put a bigger space in between our last paragraph and our footnote. And now we can deselect everything and move on to our next step, where we are going to learn how to apply paragraph indents. So we are going to go to Type and then Show Hidden Characters, just so we can see where our paragraphs start, where we have spaces, where paragraphs end. But what we want to do is select all the body copy on the page except for the 2 footnotes. So starting down here, and we're just going to click and drag and select everything but the footnotes. Now we're going to come over to our paragraph function or paragraph panel, and we're going to select the option called First Line Left Indent. So if we hover over our options, we're going to see one called First Line Left Indent, and we are going to change this to a value of 0.25 by clicking on our up arrow. Now you'll see all of our paragraphs have an indentation on them. Now we are going to select the By Christopher Smith at the top of our paper, and we are going to click and drag to highlight all of that. And then we're going to change the left indent to 0.5 for this one. So remembering our left indent is right here, our first line left indent. Actually, we're going to change just the left indent on this one, sorry. So it'll indent the entire section and not just the first line. And we are going to change that to a 0.5 and then hit enter. So now we're going to click anywhere in the third paragraph, and we're going to change the first indent line. So this is our third paragraph. We're going to change our first indent line to 0. And then we are going to change just the left indent, which is this top one right here, if I can get my cursor to work, to 0.75. And then we're also going to change our right indent to 0.75. And then hit enter. Then we're going to click on any word in the third paragraph and click it 3 times so we can select the entire line 3 times there. And we're going to go back to our character panel. We're going to change the font size to 18. And then we are also going to change the leading to 20. So remember, if we hover over these different options, we can see what they're called. We're going to change our leading to 20. And your document should look something similar to this. Now we're going to learn how to apply drop caps and soft returns. So we're going to click on the paragraph panel tab, and we are going to click anywhere in the first paragraph, and then go to our paragraph panel, and we're going to change our indent to 0. Because if we're going to do a drop caps, we do not want there to be an indentation there. So now what we're going to do is click on the drop cap number of lines arrow and click our up arrow 3 times so that our text box will display 3. So if you hover over these different options, you can see our drop cap number of lines. So that's saying how big do you want that first letter to be, how many lines tall. And we want it to be 3, so we're going to click 1, 2, and 3. And now you'll notice that T of our first paragraph is 3 lines large. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select all of the body and copy all of the text and turn it into Garamond. So remember, if we click 5 times, it should copy or highlight everything. And we're going to go back to our character panel, change our font type, and we are going to change it to Garamond. Alright, so we've changed it to Garamond, And then we're going to use our zoom tool and we're going to select around the last paragraph. So remember, if you can click and drag, you can use the click and drag function around our last paragraph. Otherwise, you can just do the click and rotate method to get the last paragraph in the view. So go ahead and do edit and then deselect all so that we can just look at our last paragraph. We are going to look for the word on. And as you can see, there's a new sentence starting, but it's near the end of a line, so we want to change that. So we're going to go to our text tool, and we're going to do what's called a soft return. How we do that is we hold down our shift key, and then hit enter. And what you'll notice is it spaces that paragraph out to end that sentence at the end of the line, and then starts a new line, but not a new paragraph. And you can be sure that it didn't start a new paragraph because you won't see this paragraph character after or before you're on. And that is how you create a soft return. So now what I want you to do is go to Window, or View, sorry, and go to Fit Page in Window. And your document should look something very similar to this. And then you're going to go to Type and Hide Hidden Characters, which is going to get rid of those blue paragraph or space indicators that you would have on your screen. This is the final step for Chapter 2, Lesson 2. And you're going to save this document, of course, as your last name, comma, first name, dash, min, pin, intro. And this is the file that you will turn in on Google Classroom.